Let me get this out of the way right now. There is going to be an update on the truck situation in this video. We have to give the people what they want. And that's what everybody wants, is truck updates. So here's another first for us. We are calling this our end of year wrap-up video, but it's not just an end of year wrap-up video. There's going to be some updates on things that we've done, things you're curious about, the aforementioned truck situation, and what we're planning next too. So stick around through the whole thing. It's a
big one. It's going to surprise you. I think.
Oh, the what's
what
next?
we're planning
I think
next.
So.
I think
I think that's.
so.
I'm going to stick around and see what happens, just because you never know. But we did a lot this summer, but because of the situation with the air conditioning in the truck, we really didn't put out a lot of the videos that we wanted to.
Yeah.
I want to go back and do a video for everything that we did. She doesn't want me to. I'm kidding. There's so much time.
Well, I mean, that's a little true.
That you don't want
It's
me to?
behind us, isn't it?
It is.
Sorry about the growling in the background. It's just Jimmy. It's not that I don't want you to. Sometimes I just feel like maybe our subscriber doesn't want us to. You know, sometimes I just feel like, do they want... I mean, let us know. Do you want to see things that we did last summer? Or are you more of the mind that I want to see current stuff? Because I just...
Let us know.
That's all I'm saying. That's where I come from. I'm like, do people want to see stuff? They're like, oh, they did this 6 months ago. Who cares? Next.
And I think people want to see that. So let us know in the comments whose side you're on.
It's not a competition. We're all pretty.
If it were, I'd be winning. Not the pretty part.
Whatever.
So until we find out if you want to see those videos, we're just going to wrap up the year. We're gonna hit the highlights. Going to show you probably some Instagram video because we did that. So we're going to get in the Wayback Machine and go back to...
This is it.
That's
This is the Wayback Machine.
We're going to go back to January. We spent the first few weeks in the valley.
By the valley, we mean the Phoenix area.
We mean the Phoenix area, and to get warm.
Yeah. We need to thaw out. We live up in the mountains, up above Phoenix, and we have 4 seasons here and below freezing temps for months. So,
and we had we have an Airstream, and we had a 1,000 Trails membership, and decided to take advantage of that. Some warm weather, and I had to get a tooth replaced. These are not real; they're attached to real teeth, but these are add-ons, if you will, upgrades. And one of them came loose a little bit in New Jersey.
New Jersey back in 23.
And so I decided at the end of 23 I should get that fixed. And so we did spend some time in the valley getting the tooth extracted. It was broken not only where the metal post goes into the real tooth, but also farther down the tooth. Had that extracted in January. They made a mold of the new one. They sent it to the lab where I had the rest of the teeth done to make it match. And then they implanted donor bone, ground up cadaver bone, and put that in there so the gums wouldn't shrink around it. Every time I remind her of that, she does that. But it turned out okay, right?
In your mouth.
Right?
Ew.
These aren't implants, they're posts into the real teeth because my teeth were really not in great shape. Sorry about the noise, it's Jimmy. We got that done over the course of a few months and it looks great.
Well, in January, when we were down there in the valley, that's when we stayed in Apache Junction.
Yes.
And we went to a granddaughter's baptism. Kaya's baptism was that month. Okay, Jimmy's going to have to stop with the red Solo cup. It's one of his favorite toys. But I think the fell over the fence, that happened when we were in Casa Grande. Was that also in January? I don't know, but at any rate, you know how outside of our Airstream, I'm sure you've seen in some of the videos, we have dog fencing that we put up for dogs. I was putting a new Hathaway We Go sticker on the front of the Airstream. I climbed down off the ladder. I got up the ladder fine, down the ladder fine, came over and tried to step over that little fence. I went down hard. Fortunately, the fence caught me, broke my fall right on the back of my head.
Fortunately, she landed on her head. The neighbors came running over.
Yeah, neighbors came running because I laid there for a minute. I didn't know if I was okay. So if you have dog fencing and you're stepping over it, I highly recommend you hold on to something. I hold on to like either the awning pole. I mean, just just in case I need it. I'm not pulling on it or anything, or Dee's arm or something now, because that was pretty scary, and I just didn't lift my leg up high enough.
And we have a shorter section of fence there now too. Cut that down, and I think we should have had your knee done then, because that's one reason it was tough for you to get over the fence is the knee. So fortunately, no long-term effects off of that one that we're aware of.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
don't fall over fences. It's not fun.
We had to, well, we didn't have to, but we cut our February trip out actually because
That's right. We were signed up to go to a rally.
we were going to go to a rally and then head to California, but our daughter had been sick and she finally was able to get in to get the help she needed. So we canceled those plans and got to go spend a couple of weeks with the grandkids, which was super fun.
It was fun, and it was a great time of year to do it because February in the Phoenix area, it was good. So, and it helped her made it possible for her to be able to get the help that she needed. So, yeah.
And about a year ago, I think I ruined our AGM batteries in the Airstream by trying to run a video camera while it was in storage, and I ran the batteries clear dead, which is not good for AGMs. And so one day there will be a video of me building my own lithium batteries. So those batteries came while we were in Goodyear with the grandkids. They actually came right after we left. Special trip to the valley.
Oh, that's right. You had to make another trip down there to pick him up because he was so excited to build his batteries.
But I got them built, and they've been working great. Again, there will be a video on that, whether you like it or not. So.
Well, baby, you can do whatever videos you want. But you have a dog hair right there.
And I do think a lot of people will find that interesting because I did. And
Well, I did. I couldn't believe it when you said you were going to build batteries. I'm like, how does one build a battery? I still don't really know, but I saw him do it, and it's pretty crazy. And they work, and they're
great.
amazing.
Yeah. So we have 608 amp hours of lithium battery in the Airstream now.
Yeah.
That I
Super
built
cool.
with my own two hands. Out
Super
of
cool.
Mountain Dew cans and baling wire.
A little bit of duct tape.
What's next? What do we do then?
Well, in March,
Oh yeah, in March we were down
staying in Casa
we were in
Grande,
Casa Grande, and because I had some work stuff and because it was warm.
and I came up to Phoenix and did a pottery class. Such fun.
Did
And I caught something that day. I think that's when I caught this virus that caused me to become horribly ill with pretty much the worst headache I've ever had in my life, even though when my son-in-law, who's a doctor, asked me that, I'm like, well, you know, because they're wondering, you know, if you had an aneurysm or whatever, but it was horrific and lasted for like 4 days.
she was on her way home driving back to the RV park when it hit, and she was able to make it, and then she pretty much went in and laid down in bed, and that was it.
For
That was
days.
it.
But then we had to leave that park.
We did.
And head to a rally in El Centro, California, to see the Blue Angels and stuff at Arizona Airstream Club rally. And I mean, I was in so much pain. I literally laid the front seat back, and I just kept a towel over my head the entire time. Oh my gosh, it was the worst trip of my life. Anyways,
we were pausing in Yuma. We thought we were going to be pulling straight into the hospital because it was just that bad. But by the time we got to Yuma, she's
that
like,
was when it kind of broke.
might be easing up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. So
I did a lot of meditating on that trip.
and you were pretty much trapped in the Airstream for a couple days because it did not just ease up and go away. It just lessened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
So let that
bad.
be a lesson to you.
I'm glad you didn't catch whatever it was. It was rough. The moral of the story is don't take a pottery class, apparently.
Is that?
I'm a little afraid to
Okay,
take
that's what
another
did
one
it.
because I think that was it. Yeah.
But she was fine by the time we went to El Centro.
Yeah.
And there was an Airstream rally there to see the Blue Angels.
Yeah. That was-
So we met up with some friends there at a really nice RV park. Can't remember the name of it, but
I can't too.
that's okay. It's in El Centro and it's a nice park. Look it up.
It's probably the only. I mean, there's probably other.
There's
parks,
several,
but
yeah. But it was
Anyways, nice.
it was fun.
We should find the name of it, and you should put it right here. Right here.
Okay.
Maybe up here.
It'll probably be right here,
Okay.
but we'll see. Somewhere it'll go whoop.
Maybe right here.
Right.
Right here. Put it right there.
We learned that the day before they have the air show, they run the routine.
They practiced the whole thing.
And so next time we go to an air show like that where the Blue Angels are, we're gonna go pick our spot the day before and watch them fly. We found a good spot.
We didn't go to the actual place.
We did not. We didn't go on base.
Yeah, we didn't go on base and walk around and stuff because my knee and I can't, couldn't do a lot of walking even then. So yeah, we just went and parked out along
out in the fields,
along
one of the
a
roads
road somewhere, and
with 724 of our best friends.
they did flybys right over
cool.
us,
We'll put one
flyovers.
They a plane right there.
They shook the tower.
Buzzed
to the tower right over us. We were the tower. It was great.
It was pretty cool. So. It was fun. I highly recommend, if you haven't been to an air show, if you haven't seen the Blue Angels or the other ones, the Thunderbirds or whatever it is.
They're awesome.
You
So
need
fun
to
to
see
watch.
because film doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Okay, so that was great. Then we came back to Phoenix, as we do. And I think we were going to take a trip. We ended up not doing that trip, too. Were we going to go somewhere after? Anyway, we went back to the valley.
We do a lot of let's take this trip and then we say, let's not.
We also do a lot of we're not going to go anywhere, and then we're gone for 3 months. So we went back to the valley, and we found a place. We're also going to do a video on how we plan trips that may or may not be canceled. But we'll have that video, too, coming up for you next year. That's not the surprise.
And everybody's thinking, oh, it'll be fun to see how they plan trips.
Get canceled all the time. But we found it was in somebody's backyard out by the Phoenix Raceway. Heart and Soil was the name of the place. And they have a full hookup spot there in their backyard that we were able to get for a few days.
They have like an acre lot.
Yeah,
it's a little
fantastic.
hobby farm.
There's a nice barn. There's some old farm equipment, very picturesque. And they had a huge fire pit. And even though it rained, we were able to have 2 big fire pits in a row, one each night. And all of our family that lives in the valley was able to
which was
come
so
over
fun.
and spend some time. All
Kids
of our
and
kids,
grandkids,
anyway.
yeah.
They have another trailer set up there. And what is that called where they do that one? Bunks for Bikers?
Yeah, bunks for bikers, right?
And so we met a couple who were staying in there, and they were actually just getting over being sick. So we didn't get to spend as much time with them as we would like to and hear their story. But it was Mad or Nomad.
Look them up on Instagram.
You won't regret it. Their adventures put ours to shame. They're traveling the world on motorcycles.
Yeah. The world. They've already been on the road at that time last March. They'd already been on the road for 6 years.
6 years.
6 years they've already been on the road, and they have 5 more to go. What? On motorcycles.
On motorcycles. Yeah, and it's
sleep in
fascinating.
tents.
They're in like South America somewhere now.
Yeah. So I follow them on Instagram. You may see every now and then I'm wearing their T-shirt. I bought their they're just such a fun, cool couple. Yeah. They're from England.
They are.
They've got the lovely British accent.
Have the accent to prove it.
Such fun.
From there, the reason we stopped there rather than going home was there was another Airstream rally.
The women's rally, yeah, up in Cottonwood.
So all of
which is up out of the valley toward the mountains, yeah.
We drove up a couple days before the rally and spent some time, the 2 of us there in a different park, seeing a few things there. And then I drove the trailer over, left her with her Airstream women friends. How many were there?
I'm not willing to tow by myself yet or anything. So he went, and then we got there the day before the rally started. And so that way he was able to get everything all set up and stuff. And then, did you ask how many was there?
I did.
Oh gosh,
20
over
something, right?
I was going to say about 30 Airstreams, yeah. And it was just such fun. So much fun. I got to know, all these women from the Arizona Airstream Club, and we went into Old Town Cottonwood and did some shopping and stuff and went to some really nice restaurants and just had a grand old time.
Without the men hanging around to police them for anything.
Right. Yeah.
So, and there's another one this year that
I'm signed up for.
Yeah.
It may get canceled.
It may get canceled knowing us, or, her knee should be healed up by then.
It's the end of April, so that's 3 months after my surgery, so I should be okay by then to go. That was March. Yeah.
April was fun, and we didn't think we were going to be able to do this one, but then we ended up being able to do it. And we got an invite from our good friends, Kevin and Deborah Rogers, No Locks Solutions and Modifications, I believe. We met them at the rally last year. Just became fast friends. We've hooked up with them. We've met up with them a couple times on the road.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, right. They're not that good of friends. So they said, "Hey, we're going to be at a Gin Blossoms concert in Santa Fe on this date."
I can't believe you remembered that part. I forgot all about that part.
And we said, Gin Blossoms. But we were able to meet them after. So we rolled in the day after the concert and spent
5 days?
5
Because we
days
got there on
there
a
with them.
Saturday,
Yeah.
I think, and stayed till Wednesday. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun. Santa
so
Fe, that was my first
who
time
knew?
really to explore Santa
Me
Fe.
too.
Yours too. Oh my gosh, the food in Santa Fe. Holy mole.
Holy moly. We did
So good.
mole sampler. I didn't even know I liked mole.
I didn't
thought I
too.
didn't.
I didn't too.
But it was
Oh my
fantastic.
goodness. Yeah.
And we saw the oldest church in the area with the stairway that, well, Jesus built, evidently.
Yeah.
And
I can't remember what it's called now.
I can't either, but it was great. And just the churches and the whole Southwest thing there is amazing.
Santa Fe's awesome.
And then we went to the Meow Wolf,
Meow Wolf, that's right.
which was
It was cool.
interesting.
It was
It was-
interesting. It was cool. We had fun. It was fun.
There were some tripping
It's
artists.
just a bunch of artists that have gotten together and just created this. I don't even know how to explain it. Look it up, meowwolf.com. They have a couple locations at least.
And while we were there, we had Kevin adjust our door because we were slamming that door. We ended up having, I had tried adjusting it several times, but it never really would work. And we had a screw that was backing out, and Kevin worked his magic.
So magical.
He'll tell you he's not the door guy. That Phil, who used to be No Locks, is the door guy. Kevin is the door guy.
Kevin is the door guy.
He worked his
Once he
magic on
fixes
that.
your door, you know he's the door guy.
And there's a video on that I'll remember to put a link in the description below to that video. He also put in the thumb screws for the air conditioning vents.
Yeah.
Super easy. I could have done it myself, but Kevin was right there.
Right?
There's a video on that too. I'll put that in the description.
So
How
many
videos
things in the
did you do?
description.
And he
The water filter.
taught me how to sanitize our fresh water tank.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't done.
Yeah.
We'd just been taking bottled water with us everywhere. And then he put in a air filter or water filter for us.
Yeah, he drilled a hole through the counter.
He did. Again, that's an easy install. I like it so much I did one here at home.
Mm-hmm.
You go back, watch that video, see how easy it is. And now we don't have to carry bottled water around with us or spend the time to go fill those up. That's what we do. Okay, so got back from Santa Fe, and Cindy said, "I'm going to leave you."
Cindy would never say that.
She didn't say it quite like that.
My son had called me previously, like, I don't know, February, I think, and invited me on a trip to Ireland. I've never been out of this country. And so off I went. And yeah, so I spent 8 days in Ireland with my son. It was grand. So grand. I held a baby sheep and we saw just the countryside and the rolling hills and the little towns and the pubs, and his girlfriend was along with us. So we had rented a small car, which is pretty much what everything is there in Ireland, a small car because they have small streets. And my son, he does a lot of traveling. He's a pilot, so he travels a lot, and he's pretty familiar with driving on the wrong side of the car, on the wrong side of the road. So of course he was the designated driver. And my knee was really bad at the time, and so I always sat in the back seat so I could stretch my leg out up on the seat. So I'm sitting behind him on the driver's side, which to us is the passenger side. But anyways, so I'm like right by, where the oncoming traffic is coming. And oh my gosh. I mean, there's no room. And then there's no room on the other side. I'm having flashbacks.
You should.
That was rough.
You should give me a video of that.
Okay.
And show the road there.
Yeah.
somewhere.
Woo! That was rough. But anyways, it was a really good trip. Went and saw on the last night we went when we were back in Dublin and saw Irish dancing and singing and stuff, which was super cool. So that was the highlight of May.
Got a stamp in her passport now.
Got a stamp on my passport.
So in June, we went to another rally. This was the Dolores rally. Guess where it was?
In Dolores,
How'd you know?
Colorado.
That's right. Super fun. We went kayaking. We saw some Indian ruins. took a drive in the countryside, hung out with some friends.
Super fun to meet back up with our friends in the Airstream Club. So,
We had
yeah.
had a little talent show there. Cindy sang a song that she rewrote. So
A cover, if you will.
a
Is that
cover,
called a cover?
yeah, a cover. It was the DIVORCE song, but
By Tammy Wynette, but
she
I
modified that to
changed it.
to be about our dogs, our DOGGIES.
Are you gonna play that here?
I'm gonna show you a little bit of that right here.
Our little dogs, yes, we have 3. Greta, Gigi, Jimbo. They're so smart, we have to spell out all the words that they know. Like TOYWALK, TREAT. But we just can't spell away this hair that's stuck all over D. Our DOGGIES, Greta, Gigi, Jimbo, to the DOGPARK. They love to GO. Somehow they know when it's time for DINNER. How we wish that Greta wouldn't throw up in the CAR. And Gigi is the one we ADOPTED. Yes, we love these dogs and they're the reason we bought an Airstreamer. At least they're CUTE.
Wow, that's
it.
a good call. You have an amazing voice.
And it got rained out, so really it was just a one-man show because
And we did a tour of Jim and
yeah.
Angel's Airstream.
Angel
They have the
Craig's.
26U.
unusual. The U is not for unusual; it's for the shape of the dinette. But it is a different layout and very roomy.
Very spacious for 26 feet. That was very cool. Yeah.
And then we were just going to come back home after that, but somebody convinced us, Penny, that you only live once. Take the trip. You can come back. You can buy more flowers when you get home if yours
It's
are
not
dead.
that we were going to come back home from after that, like while we were already on the trip, but just like a couple of weeks
Yeah.
before, we decided, why don't we go on up to the PNW after that, and we can meet up with Kevin and Deborah for Deborah's birthday in
Right.
August, and da 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 da, and yay PNW because we love the PNW. So
That's where things got a little off course for us. That's when the air conditioning went out. We were in Moab
the day we
Yeah.
left that rally,
the day we left the rally. So
It was a
we
Monday,
would have been
yeah.
home,
yeah, we could have just driven all the way home
but we didn't.
and avoided all of that.
Let me just sum up the air conditioning saga. We have a whole series on it, which I'll put in a link in the comment section, probably. Well, in my description. The air conditioning went out in Moab, Utah on the 24th of June. The next day, we went into a Ford dealer and they said, it's your air conditioning compressor/compressor clutch coil. They're on indefinite back order. As we Googled through this had started to become a big problem. Everybody who's saying, didn't you do your research? This was not an issue at that point, and it definitely is now. So the AC went out, like I said, then we decided we can't stay in Utah indefinitely.
It was hot there.
It was
we were
102.
running both ACs 24/7.
And we figure at that point that the tech, who I said, don't order it, we can't stick around to have it replaced, put in our file, customer refused service, because that haunted us through the rest of the journey.
Yeah.
I
But
have
we
no idea
didn't
why.
find that out until toward the end of the whole thing, when we were told by the owner of our dealership here that well, you refused service, or actually I guess the Ford person mentioned that anyways. And I really think that's where it came from. I think that very first time that he took it in Provo, Utah. Was it Provo?
It was Provo.
Yeah, in Provo, Utah, he took it to the Larry Miller Ford dealer. I think that tech, instead of saying, these nice people are pulling an Airstream and they can't stay here because it's too hot, so they're going to go ahead and finish their trip. No, I think he just said, customer refused service.
The
Because
Teton-
remember, at this point, we had no idea it was going to take so long to get our truck fixed. We just thought when we get to Bellingham, where we're going to be staying for several weeks, we'll just get it fixed there.
Yeah.
And it'll be cooler there, so it'll be fine.
So we headed that way, We stopped and saw my sister in Utah, and then we went up to Yellowstone for the 4th of July week. Another one of my sisters, my other sister actually, is a campground host there just outside of Yellowstone.
In Island Park, Idaho.
In Island Park.
Weather was fabulous
Right.
for not
So
having
good.
air conditioning.
We got to go into Yellowstone a couple times. We did the South Loop, we did the North Loop, and we can't show you any of that video because rules.
Because we're not allowed, because we didn't get permits. We were fortunate enough to be sitting in traffic when all of a sudden an entire herd of buffalo came walking right by us with all the mamas and babies. It was
All, yeah.
incredible.
Hundreds.
It was just,
And
it was incredible.
Jimmy was growling at them because that's what he does.
It was incredible.
And Cindy's like, "You're gonna climb in the truck." So that was fantastic.
Oh,
Got to hang
so
out
cool.
with my sister and her husband, camp in the woods, boondocked for a couple days, and then we moved back. The really great thing about being in that area and around the park is there are no fireworks, so we didn't have to deal with the fireworks at midnight and all that going off and the dogs freaking out. So that was memorable for me. But we got to go see Quake Lake.
So
It's
cool.
awesome. I will do a video on Quake Lake.
Yeah, that deserves a whole
that
video
is-
because that's an amazing piece of history right
Yeah,
there.
that's quite a story, and it's just gorgeous. We were headed over to Bellingham, and this was when the heat wave was coming across the country.
was a heat dome?
Yeah, there was no route that we could take to not be in 100+ degree weather.
We learned
Early,
how to get up early and pull out early.
and we like it.
It was a first for us, but we really did like it.
We're on the road like at 6.
That's a
at the
new
latest.
thing we're probably going to
Yeah.
be doing because we really liked that a lot.
Stopped in Omak was one of the stops, and then somewhere in
It was like 102
Montana.
when we pulled in there.
it was rough, but we were fine. We knew we had air conditioning coming in Bellingham.
Right. And we had air conditioning in the Airstream. So once we got the Airstream cooled down, then we're fine in the trailer. We didn't take any of the Reflectix out of the windows because, it was hot.
it was
so
so
we were
hot.
doing everything to stay cool in the Airstream.
Yeah. Why don't you just roll your windows down and travel? We did.
We did roll the
and
windows
it was
down.
Hot. It was miserable.
It's hot. It's miserable. You just feel exhausted when you have to drive for hours with the wind blowing on you.
And the dogs are looking at you like,
And the
what
poor
is-
dogs, they're just panting and they had no idea. I kept spraying them with the spray bottle anyways.
But we made it to Bellingham, and I had an appointment lined up for the next day with the Ford, and they canceled that and said we can get you in next week. So we're a week behind.
That's a whole video. We've already talked about all of that.
So enough of the truck. While we were there in Bellingham, we did do a few things. We actually rented a car.
We say Bellingham. We actually were in Blaine.
We were in Blaine.
We were in Blaine. The Ford dealer was in
far
Bellingham,
north
which is
as you
just
can
30
get.
minutes away.
So we rented a car to do a few things.
Because we wanted air conditioning because it was hot still, during the day. I mean, and we were driving far enough that, we wanted to enjoy the drive and enjoy the view and not, have the wind in our hair.
So we went up to the Canadian border
Yeah.
because Blaine is about as far north as you can get without being
Yeah.
without picking up an accent, eh? Without being in Canada. So that was really cool to see.
We walked over to the Peace Arch Park.
Yeah, Peace Arch Park is worth the trip.
So cool. Yeah, that was fun.
I'd been to Canada before. Had you ever been to Canada? No, I went there in high school with the band.
Oh, and a friend of mine from Instagram, Bev, came and picked me up a couple different days, and we went and visited some fun places. So that was fun. We went down to, that's when we rented the car
Yes.
and went to Anacortes and found the best cheesecake in the whole
Oh my gosh.
entire world. Plant-based even.
Plant-based cheesecake. That
Yeah.
I would make the drive from here to go get more if I really
Really?
Say had to. Yeah.
Do you want me to grab your keys?
I'll be right back. No, that was really fantastic, and we left the dogs in the trailer because you weren't supposed to take your dogs to the street market they had, but everybody had dogs.
Everybody had their dogs. So I'm telling you what, I think from this point forward, when we're going to go somewhere and the thing says no dogs allowed,
Dogs are going.
dogs are going. Because my dogs will be in a stroller anyway. And, we always are the rule followers. And then I always get there and think, okay, I've had to leave my dogs. They're going to be in that trailer for 6 hours alone. And yet I could have brought them.
We hung out on the beach a little bit. We went and for the reopening weekend of the Plover Ferry.
Yes.
That was not a ferry like you'd think, you can drive your cars on and go somewhere. It's like holds 19 people fully loaded. It was almost empty when we went there. And it was, like I said, it had been in for repairs. This was its opening.
After 2 years. Yeah, that was super fun. It was just a short little ferry ride, but that was super fun.
Went out to Semiahmoo and collected some shells.
Yeah.
That was and agates. Oh my gosh,
The agates.
the agates were
everywhere.
amazing. We picked those up in Oregon last
Do you know what
year.
an agate is? I didn't know what an agate was until we went to Oregon last year. So it's a little rock that if you shine a light through it, you can like, the light shines through it. Oh my gosh, they're so fun to find. But we're finding big ones.
Yeah, we found little ones in
Semiahmoo.
Oregon. We
Yeah,
found little ones in New Jersey.
yeah.
We found.
Big ones in Semiahmoo. So yeah, super fun.
Then we moved down to La Conner.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Blaine Thousand Trails. Don't do it.
I think the Blaine Thousand Trails was pretty much our breaking point when we decided
Yeah,
that
we're not
doing Thousand Trails anymore.
So that's not the surprise either. But we
gave up Thousand
gave it up.
Trails.
We got our money's worth out of it, but it is not for what lies ahead for us. Another teaser. Stick around to find out what lies ahead for us. So we left that part. Fortunately, we went to La Conner, which was closer to Anacortes.
So we went back to Anacortes.
I did, and I actually spent a day working at a coffee shop there. Well, half a day while you wandered around.
Right.
Super fun.
Is that when we took the ferry? We rode the ferry over to
We
Friday
did.
Harbor?
We rode the ferry to Friday Harbor. We met the coolest people on there because they saw us with our GoPro and they're like, "You guys have a YouTube channel?" And we said, "Yes."
Yeah.
They're like, "We have a YouTube channel."
Yeah, and
So,
he's a videographer,
Yeah.
he's a filmmaker.
he's legit.
Yeah,
So
Cody.
we have a celebrity sighting. The guys are over here. Aren't you guys Char and Cody's on YouTube?
Oh my goodness! Hello, subscribe to your channel. Resubscribe to yours.
Wow! So you're the one.
Found some friends.
I will.
Put it here
I'll
because
put it here, and
yeah,
you should go check them out because they're
Yeah.
just the nicest
they
people.
were
and
such a sweet
adventurous.
couple.
All right, nice to meet you guys.
Thank you guys.
But we went and took forever to find a place to park the bat, the big ass truck, and we had to walk a really long way, which was not fun for me. But we just walked onto the ferry, and then for us, being on the ferry and just seeing the islands as we're going past, just being out on the water that's most of the fun for us. We would have loved to have been able to spend more time in Friday Harbor, but we just couldn't because, again, we had to leave the dogs in the trailer and then drive to the ferry and then the ferry ride and then the ferry ride back. So we were just going to stay on the ferry and then turn around and come back. But then we were told you have to get off the ferry and then just get back on. Well, that's easy for you. You don't have a bad knee. So we got off, we got a coffee,
You got back on?
we saw Friday Harbor and wished we could stay and visit, and then we got back on the ferry and came back.
Yeah.
Such fun.
And now every time one of you other YouTubers makes a
Goes
video
to Friday
about
Harbor, we're
like,
so jealous.
but we'll get over it eventually.
Yeah.
And then we headed to, we drove through Seattle and went to the Washington Land Yacht Harbor. I will drive through Seattle any day of the week over driving through Salt Lake City. It's always under construction, and it lasts from
It's
American
2 hours.
Fork to North Ogden.
It's
It
2
is-
hours getting through Salt Lake City, not proper, but through, yeah.
Yeah. We went to the Washington Land Yacht Harbor. We were there for the salmon rally.
It's Airstreams only. It's an Airstream only
It
park.
is.
So
And
people
some
live there
houses-
full time, but you have to own an Airstream to live there. Part of the reason was going there was because, again, our good friends Kevin and Deborah,
Right.
No Lock Solutions, also our Second Life on
that's right.
Instagram. It was her birthday there, and she was going to have birthday parties. So we wanted to be there in time for that to celebrate her birthday with her. And also, I had made curtains.
That's right.
I made Airstream curtains for their Airstream, and so I did the install while we were there. So we were there for about 3 weeks.
We were
ended
there,
up, right? Yeah. Did the salmon rally, which was super fun. They asked Dee to play in the band.
Yep. So I mentioned I played bass, and they're like, "Hey, we need a bass player." So no rehearsals, and it showed. But it was fun. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. And part of the planning of the trip was to be at Mount St. Helens because our daughter and granddaughter, who live here in this area, were going to be there doing a marathon, half marathon.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally live 35 minutes from us, but they were going to be there at the same time we were in Washington. We're like, oh, let's go be there to cheer them on and see them come in from their race. So we did that. And Mount St. Helens. And the park that we stayed in was amazing.
It was just
And
cool.
the drive up to Mount St. Helens, I rode in the back seat with my leg up. We took the dogs, took the stroller. But yeah, it was gorgeous
It's
up
fun.
there.
It's good to see them do that run.
So fun.
You know, be there when they came across the finish line was very cool. So they headed back home the next day, and so did we. We said, let's just deal with the heat and get back home to our local hometown Ford dealer and let them fix this problem. That's in the series. I'm not going to say much more about that. So we spent a day driving the Oregon coast because we love it. And then
And the weather was great.
the weather was, it rained. and
Didn't
it was
matter that we didn't
cool
have
and
AC.
It was amazing. And then we did the up early in the morning and done by noon trip
Yeah.
home.
And by early, we mean like dark, like
Yeah.
dark 30,
Yeah.
that we would pull out of parks like at 4:30 in the morning to beat the heat as best we could. So
And we ended up driving through Vegas in not quite the hot part of the day, but it's
it was
hot there.
106 that day in Vegas, and I think we got to like 102 or 4.
Yeah, and even in Holbrook, it was
Yeah.
over 100, which we didn't expect. But we made it home.
We made it
It was
home.
fine.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
I'll say, as the truck update, the air conditioning is working.
They did fix it.
They did
finally.
fix
And it's
the air
still working.
conditioning. This has been a great boost to our YouTube channel to go through what we went through with Ford. On
Not
this
worth it.
side of it, I 100% would rather have done boring travel videos than have done these videos that have done really well for us. We got a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new friends, got some weird comments out there, which is just, it's fun. We could do a
Plant a
video.
lemon tree in the back of it and park it in front of the dealer.
We could do a video on
Leave it at the
weird people.
dealership.
BS LOL. I don't know what
Yes.
that means. It's been great for the YouTube channel. We hope you keep watching, even though the truck is working, especially as we gear up for what's going to be
Don't
happening
break
next
up with
year.
us just because we got our truck fixed. Please. I mean, you know, we're kind of fun. We have cute dogs.
We do. And we
And
do
we're
travel.
gonna do fun stuff again.
We don't always just sit in front of a camera and talk.
We
And
don't.
You've seen the clips as we've gone through this of places we've been, things we've done. You've heard the repairs and the upgrades. So it's not all about the Ford truck. I apologize for that for some of you who want it to be. October was tough. October was a tough month. We went down from 3 dogs to 2. Can you tell this story?
Nope.
Okay. So
I can. I'm going to tell
Okay.
the story, and I'm going to try really hard not to cry because there's, you know, that one guy that comments and that says, "Why are you doing crying on camera?" Gigi got sick, and very quickly, like within a couple of days, was extremely sick. Basically, she got sick on a Thursday. By Monday, I felt like this is life and death. So I started calling around, found another vet fairly close that would see her in 2 days. At that point, we didn't know if she'd make it until then, but we got her in there and found out it was not her teeth. She actually had a very large tumor in her lung, very near her heart. It was inoperable, and the vet said, you know, palliative care may buy her a day or two. It was so fast, which I'm grateful for that. But she was only 9, and you know, you think a small dog like that should live a lot longer, but you never know. Cancer sucks. So we lost Gigi on October 16th, and it was tough. It was real tough. I'm not crying, you're crying. Jimmy was very sad because Jimmy and Gigi were really, really good buddies. And so Jimmy was really sad, and it was hard for him too. So anyway, so we got through October, and then November came along.
Let's
No
talk about
shave
this.
November.
yes,
So that's the reason for this.
take whatever you would normally spend on shaving material, which for me is like $1.97 for a Bic razor, and donate that for cancer research, or just spread the word like we do here now. Cancer sucks. In any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
So I've kept it because Cindy mentioned earlier she likes the beard.
I do.
Didn't I say? Do you like the beard?
I like it. It's so soft. It's just so soft. Jimmy likes it too. Jimmy says it's not as good as my beard, huh?
Since we had air conditioning in the truck, we decided, what the heck, let's do another rally. So we did this rally last year, but it was called the Birds and Barrels Rally. This year it was the swearing-in ceremony.
Passing the torch.
Passing the torch, which is where the Arizona Airstream Club changes their leadership. We drove down there. We went a couple days early and stayed at a KOA because we needed to de-winterize and we were going to be boondocking.
And also, our friends Rich and Judy came.
right.
They came a day early, stayed in that same KOA, and I installed the Airstream curtains that I made for their Airstream.
That'll also be in. We will do a video on the trip to Wilcox and back because there's a lot of information in that one. So look
Wilcox,
for that.
Arizona.
Yeah, look for that one coming. The rally's just fun and amazing.
They're just fun. They're just so much fun and so much food. We finally learned on this rally, we learned don't take any food.
Yeah.
I mean, take some eggs to make breakfast or something because there's so much food at these rallies, especially because we have Heidi in our Airstream club and
Right.
she's
amazing.
She's incredible. So,
Wilcox is our last rally
of the year.
for the year. Yes. That was a little teaser there to make them go, what? It's fine. It worked out
But
really
it
well.
may be our last rally
Maybe the rest
forever.
Yeah, the last Airstream one anyway. The Airstream is for sale. The Airstream has been for sale over a
Since
year.
October of 23, it's been for sale.
We decided then we wanted something smaller, and then we went out and bought a big old truck. But it's made traveling easier.
Because that's us. That's who we are.
the truck.
But at
is
the
for
time we
sale.
bought the truck, our plan was to sell the Airstream and get another Airstream, possibly a vintage and maybe even like a bigger one, like a 31 foot or even the 34 foot triple axle, because we've got this truck that can pull anything now. And then things changed.
As we were driving through Yellowstone with the dogs in the truck with us, we started noticing all the smaller Class Cs and the vans that were whipping in and around the park and pulling over to spots. And we thought, wouldn't it be great?
Well, because so Dee, even you thought that you couldn't even take an RV
I thought you
into
couldn't.
Yellowstone. And so, we were at a campground outside of Yellowstone, but, we wanted to be able to spend as much time there as we wanted. So that's why we took the dogs with us. So we get into Yellowstone, and not only first do we start seeing, well, there's RV parks in Yellowstone Park, but also we start noticing these small Class Bs or Class Cs and B pluses. And I'm just like, look at these guys. They're just whipping around. They're just whipping in and looking at things. We couldn't do that if we were pulling our 30-foot trailer.
We could barely do it in the truck.
And then after we'd been there in the park for not very long, maybe, 45 minutes, an hour, maybe, we had to make a potty stop. And the only potties we could find were vault toilets. Oh my gosh. That was the most disgusting thing in my life. And I'm thinking, you know what? These people out there in their little Class B pluses and Cs and stuff, they brought their own
bathroom.
toilet.
Yep.
And it just, it kind of changed our entire way of thinking about RVing on that day.
And then it just continued from there as we were going over the pass, Washington Pass. We came in this cute little town.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like,
Adorable little town.
we're almost 60 feet long. We can't
just stop.
whip in there and get a cup of coffee and check the place out. So we started thinking, maybe the smaller trailer is not small enough.
Because we've missed so many opportunities to see things along our drives because we're, again, 55 feet long, whatever we are, and we can't just whip in somewhere and park. I mean, it's just not that easy, especially in a small town. They just don't have, places for that. So the more we thought about it, the more we realized, oh my gosh, what if we do that?
And while we were in Blaine, our neighbor was in a Class C.
Yeah.
And she would unhook,
Every
not
day.
pack everything up, but unhook and drive down to the beach
And spend the day at
there.
the beach.
So we even started thinking, okay, she doesn't tow.
But I can drive a van.
She can, but I can't work while we're driving in this. But I could work while she's driving a van because
So we could, right now what we have to do is we have to travel on weekends. So if we want to spend any time exploring a place, we really need to spend 2 weeks there so we have a weekend in the middle. And so we thought, if we had something that I could drive, he could be working. We could say Wednesday morning, hey, let's head out and get a few hours down the road. He can work. No big deal. I am perfectly comfortable driving a Class B, Class B plus, Class C, something like that. And another huge thing is the dogs. If we want to go explore someplace, they're with us the whole time. And then, let's say we pull up to a museum or whatever, a cute little small town, and it's not super dog friendly. They stay in the little RV with the air conditioning running if needed, and they're fine. And then we're not leaving them for as long.
and then when we take a ferry to Friday Harbor, we just
could have just taken our RV on the ferry.
and
driven around.
continued exploring over there. That's our big surprise. We're doubling down on selling the truck and the Airstream so that we can get ourselves in a position to travel differently, lighter, smaller, more nimble.
So when right after Yellowstone, and the next place that we landed was in Blaine, Washington, and I hurt my back and I was laid up for a while, and I was just laying on the bed watching TV, and I saw a YouTube thing about a leisure travel van. And I was like, what? What? Because this leisure travel van that we saw literally has 2 spaces because the door closes off, and like he could work and I could be out here, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the research is ongoing, and I kept researching and I kept looking, and finally at one point I said, what about a Class B van? Because a Class B van we could park in our driveway and we wouldn't have to pay for storage. And how amazing would it be when we want to go on a trip, or even when we're not thinking about going on a trip, we say, hey, you want to go down to the valley tomorrow morning? Sure.
Jimmy does.
Throw some things in the van, go hop in the van and go. The situation we're in right now is we have to drive 45 minutes to get our trailer from storage. And then what we typically do is bring it back here to load it and then go. So there's just, I mean, the list goes on and on about the conveniences. And yeah, it's definitely smaller, and there's a lot of, a lot of different things about it. But I just feel like the freedom to just whip in places and see things and do things, have the dogs with us. He can work, I can drive. And so, guys, we're getting a Class B van.
We are. There's the big surprise.
Do we want to mention like our top contenders and that it's not going to be an Airstream?
We actually went and looked at some LTVs in Washington, so we knew what we were doing there, and research continued, and we want something more stealthy.
Yeah.
And so we're really narrowing our choices down. So we have top 3.
We have top 3, with the top being the top, and then the other 2.
And we're not sure where we're going to land because they all have their positives and their negatives.
They do.
Pleasure Way is one of them.
Yeah.
And then the Midwest Automotive
Designs, yes.
And on the top, also at the top of the price range, I believe, is the Gretsch.
That's at the top.
That's at the top.
I mean, like, here are the 3. 1, 2, Gretsch.
And the pricing does not reflect that. Pricing does not reflect that. For our Airstream friends, we did look at the Airstream vans. We can't.
We can't.
They're $100,000 more than the others.
$100,000 more.
For new.
For not the same.
Yeah. Not the same quality as the other.
At all.
As those 3. Seriously, not anywhere close to.
It will be hard for us to not be Airstreamers.
For sure.
We've talked to some of our Airstream friends about this, and the thing is, we've made friends, and they are our friends no matter what kind of an RV any of us have. They are our friends, and we will still do meetups and, things like that. So, we'll be sad about missing the rallies, but part of my research too was finding out, do these other manufacturers do rallies? And they do. They do rallies. And so that makes me so excited because it just opens up a whole other, circle of friends.
Right.
So we're going to get a Class B van, you guys. I don't know when.
When these others sell.
Well, yeah, we have to sell the Airstream
sure.
and the truck
and then
first.
We gotta, recoup and everything.
And I'm having knee surgery on January 23rd and blah, 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 blah. But we're getting a Class B van.
Search is on. We've committed to it
So
with you.
excited. Yes, it has a wet bath. That's okay.
I never thought I'd live to hear you say that.
I know. But all of the benefits outweigh the 5 minutes that you spend in the shower. And I will use that shower because unlike a lot of people who say, oh, we never use the shower, some people don't even use their black tank in an RV, which I think is ridiculous.
Right.
I will use the shower. It's exciting. It's super exciting. And, we thought about being those YouTubers that, make you wait until we, figure it out and go look at things. No, we're not going to make you wait and wonder what we're doing. Okay. We're going to sell the Airstream and the truck, and we're going to get a Class B van.
And we'll take you with us when we do it.
And we don't know. I mean, it'll probably be used because, they ain't cheap. We are. There's other things about the whole Airstream travel for me, okay? And I know I've talked about this before. I have some anxiety issues. One of my issues is when we are parked anywhere and we're in the trailer, it always enters my mind, what if something terrible happened? And I'm not talking like, being evacuated or whatever, because we just grab the dogs and go get in the truck and leave. And of course, we'd have to leave our trailer behind. In my mind, I'm like, what if there's a murderer out there? There's a bad guy in the campground right outside our trailer. We're trapped. We cannot get out of this trailer and get to our vehicle. Guess what? A Class B van, just jump in the driver's seat and go. That gives me so much peace of mind. Oh, yeah.
If you want to see the panic, go back and watch the Roy's
Amboys.
Amboy
California.
Amboy Roy's video, because she was
my
up all
gosh.
night, literally all night.
That was miserable.
Yeah.
That was awful.
So there you go. Big reveal, truck update, year in review, what's coming up next year. That's all there. So thanks for tagging along with us. We hope you'll keep tagging along with us as we step into this next part of our adventures. Not only the knee, but as we, get the Airstream and the truck gone and see what we settle into next. If you've already subscribed, thank you for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment. Tell us who's right and who's wrong about what were we arguing about?
We weren't arguing.
What were we bantering about?
I don't remember. But comment about the first thing that we told you to comment about. But also, I would love to know what you think about our Class B adventure.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you think we're nuts for getting out of the Airstream and into something else. Let us know if you think we're nuts for going from a 30-foot trailer into a smaller Class B. And you just let us know if you think we're nuts. Somebody's going to.
Somebody's gonna think we're
"You guys are
absolutely nuts.
nuts."
And that's okay. It's everybody has their own different style and what they want, and we were once told that it takes what, 2 or 3 RVs to figure out what you want and what you need. And literally that day in Yellowstone National Park, we saw it. We're gonna whip it.
We've loved the trips that we have taken in the Airstream, the air conditioning issues aside, but we've had some amazing trips with this Airstream, and now we're just going to have amazing trips differently.
Yeah.
And be able to do more, see more, travel more, be
for
more.
sure.
I had to make that rhyme.
Be more spontaneous.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We are very spontaneous, so that kind of fits really well in with our plan.
I never know how to wrap these videos up, so I guess we'll just say...
Well, that's the end of this video.
there it is.
There's our recap for 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. And, Dee's going to link all of the videos that we talked about down here. So, if you haven't seen them, go catch up, give them a like. And we hope that we get to run into many of you out on the road in 2025. Wouldn't that be so fun?
It will be so fun.
It will be so fun.
That's it.
Bye.
Greta does not know where she's supposed to be because we're not on the couch.
Right.
Poor puppy. Do you have your list of things we were supposed to talk about? Because I'm like,
So, okay. 29-24 wrap up.
wow, really traveling in the future.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, well, then I definitely don't. You were really talking about
I was talking
back
about
in
this.
2023?
It's beautiful. Why wouldn't people want to see beautiful scenery and hear us banter? Whose side you're on, I'll just cut that out. We'll leave it at whose side you're on.
I like your beard. Oh yeah, we could put that in the list for November.
It's a long list.
It's okay. We can go through it really fast. We're just gonna talk fast. Okay. I was adding a note to our notes. I lost my notes.
Oh no.
No, they've got to still. Here it is. I panicked. Did my ears get red? Oh, they got hot.
We're doing a rally and then we're... Jam!
Quiet. No. I don't
It's been
think
a
it was.
minute.
I don't think it was Campendium. I don't remember what
It was like our... Anyway.
Shh. Hey.
He has to be in the video somehow.
I hate it goes away. Why does it go away?
Camera just powered off.
Figures. You want me to try turning it back on?
It's probably too hot and maybe needs another battery, so...
Oh, it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
We got to move this along a little bit because we're only in April.
All right. Well, we're going to edit the heck out of it as we go along.
Okay.
What's up with your hair there, Donald Trump?
He's got quite the flip over going on.
That's looking good. Stop it. Get down here. Does he want a...
He probably
Bonus
wants
stick?
Greta to wake up and play with him because that's what he does.
And scene.
Do you
Hey,
see?
will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Go over and start that recording again.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I hope that was recording.